All right, so let's talk about Santa Muerte jewelry and Santa Muerte tattoos, and the one question that I get for both. And that is, if I'm not a Santa Muerte devotee, or if the person that's asking, if they're not a Santa Muerte devotee, can they wear Santa Muerte jewelry, and can they get a Santa Muerte tattoo out of respect? Now, to me, these questions are coming from a place of not of ignorance, because they don't know, and that's why it's important to have these conversations and these discussions. Because if you think about history, historically, tattoos held meaning. They were significant to some pretty important things, whether it was based on culture, your status within the tribe, within your community, or it was something spiritual, or it was like a coming of age thing. And especially within, the occult, mystical spaces, tattoos were very powerful, and they were not done lightheartedly, even out of respect. Same thing with jewelry. Jewelry it's talismans. It's something not just like, oh, I'm just wearing this just because. Jewelry meant something. Sacred adornment meant something. It was either for protection, again, it was to symbolize your status, it was cultural, but still, nonetheless, there was meaning behind it. Now, fast forward now into modern times, most folks don't utilize wearing jewelry in that way, and they do things not understanding what it means. They're not aware of the history of what they're doing and why they're doing it, or so on and so forth. Now, within Santa Muerte devotion, as devotees, we don't wear Santa Muerte jewelry for funsies. Okay, we don't wear it just because it's cute, it looks good, or whatever. We wear our Santa Muerte jewelry for different reasons, but behind every reason is because it is an act of devotion, and it's showcasing our devotion to Santa Muerte. Because within the fact that we are devoted to her and we are walking this path for life, that is where our respect comes from. Okay, that's where it is. That's where it stems from. For devotees that get her tattooed on them, and I myself eventually want to get her tattooed on me, and it's already happening, but I'm so intentional about getting her tattooed that I don't even want someone that's not a devotee tattooing her onto my skin, because I would rather a devotee that knows mommy, that loves her, that respects her, to partake in a sacred act of getting her tattooed, of getting that on my skin. Because I'm aware of the fact that tattooing Santa Muerte onto my skin is solidifying our bond in blood. Because when you get tattooed, there is some blood involved. That is a blood ritual, in a sense. Okay? And that's what that means to me. That is what Santa Muerte has shown me that it means. That is solidifying our bond. Now, if you are not a devotee, and you just respect Santa Muerte, you're not a devotee, you don't walk the path, but you just have respect for her. You can have respect for her and not feel the need to inject yourself or wear her or put her on your skin, which is something permanent. You can still respect her and not have to put yourself that close to her, if that makes sense. And my thing is, if you are to the point where you feel the need, you want to wear her jewelry, you want to get her tattooed onto your skin, which again is a lifelong commitment that is on your skin, that is a deep bond being done through ink and blood. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you show her the respect by walking the path of devotion if you feel the need to do that? You know what I mean? Yes, with jewelry, that is not as serious as getting her tattooed onto your skin, But wearing her, we don't do so lightly. We don't wear her, just like I said, just for funsies and because it looks good. It means something more to us. Okay, and again, if you go further back and if you look at the culture and the history of Santa Muerte, some people were not even allowed to have statues. Some people had to hide Santa Muerte. And even now, there are some people that have to hide their devotion to Santa Muerte. There are some folks that can't even have statues of her. So a necklace maybe is the only thing that they can have as an image, as a way to connect to her. You know what I mean? Now, in today's, how people operate, they do things without intention. They do things just because it's trendy or other people are doing it, but not understanding the significance of why we do what we do. Like I said, each devotee wears Santa Muerte for different reasons. There could be, a spell within that. There could be something that you don't even know. But it's done out of respect. It's done from a place of devotion. It is not done just because we want to wear her just as an accessory. Santa Muerte is not an accessory. We have more respect for her than to treat her as that. And that as well is in the same breath as people that get Santa Muerte tattooed on them and then they decide to abandon her and they don't want anything to do with her. You literally took it upon yourself to get her tattooed onto your skin and then you decide you don't want nothing to do with her. To me, that makes no sense. And to me, that is disrespectful because you have to really put thought into what you're doing. And if you ask yourself, and this is why I always tell people that come to me in sessions, really ask yourself if you can walk this path for life. Because you're either in or you're not. There is no in and out, and I'm just for now, and maybe next time I don't. There's no flip-flopping. Either you're in the path, you're with mommy, you're locked in, or you're not. And that's why I tell people to really think about, can they commit? Can they really walk this path? And especially think about that before you get her fucking tattooed on your skin. Okay? But what we do, how we wear Santa Muerte, we don't do it lightly. So you can still respect her. And you don't need to wear jewelry of her. You don't need to and you especially don't need to get her tattooed on you. That to me is disrespectful. In my own personal opinion. I think it's disrespectful to get Santa Muerte tattooed on you and you're not a devotee. That's doing the opposite of what you think you're trying to do, which is being respectful. So that's just, something to think about for the folks that are curious and they see people wearing Santa Muerte necklaces and bracelets and they're like, oh my God, I want to do that. I respect her. I think she's so cool and amazing. Then take the time to get to know her, to learn about her. You can show respect that way. You can say, you can go to a devotee that has a public altar. You can give an offering. You can pour into a Santa Muerte devotee's business, and that is showing respect for her. You could do something for the marginalized people, the people that are the less fortunate. You could do something for the dead. You can go volunteer to clean up graveyards and, headstones. Do something in honor of her. That is respectful. That is something that can be done and is not disrespectful as trying to get her tattooed onto you and wearing her jewelry and you're not a devotee. So, just like I said, just something to keep in mind.